Modern operations. So we're back in the scenario exactly where I left off last night. Well, probably not looking at the exact same point, but it's exact same time. So my goal tonight, because I got a couple hours here before I actually need to sleep. Luckily tonight is see if we can hit these, knock out some of this air defense, see how they're doing in here, and get our B2 actually on site, start bombing the one bunker. So my goal is to hit that one bunker. What's that there? Okay. I'm trying to figure out what flights are what at this for a moment real quick. You guys, I do actually need you guys, so. Where was the B2 at? What are you? You are not I care about right now. You're the B2. Okay. So the B2's here. What I'm going to do, I don't have a guarantee this SAM is knocked out. Actually, no, I've not seen the SA5s fire. It is entirely possible that these SA5 sites do not have a fire control radar at this point. So it is entirely possible that my strike I launched on them succeeded in the objective. Which, even though I didn't knock out the sites completely, they don't actually have a fire control radar that works. But let's actually look at what these sites are real quick. So that's the missile itself. Those things are ridiculous. They're the S-200M Vegas. Square pair fire control radar. And I know I knocked out at least one of those. So losses, expenditures. Not that I'd actually know this. So it would have been the square pair, which is right here. We've knocked out 4 square pairs. So that means 4 locations do not have. Oh, this is 2 battalions. We knocked out all the square pairs. I did not realize that, apparently. So apparently these two sites are both 2 battalions each. Okay. Then let's get on with this. Pull up the message log again. And that's so we're back to firing missiles again. And more SAMs launching. That SAM site's firing. I don't care too much about that SAM site. Although we do have a lot of AARGMs inbound. So what I'm going to do for the rest of this mission is when I'm flying the F-22s and F-35s in, they're going to have their radars offline. Because these are stealth aircraft. So I'll actually pause it here for a moment and pull them up in the database. So, very beautiful plane. I love the F-22. Absolutely love the thing. So, if we scroll way the hell down, signatures. Against A through D band radars, which was the radars we were knocking out earlier, they have a fairly small, we're not even going to worry about that number, we're going to worry about this value here. This is the footprint of it when it comes to radar. This is the radar cross section. From the front, 0.0072 square meters. That is a very small footprint. 0.00027 or 72, I mean, for Ethereum bands. So this thing is a crazy, ridiculous stealth rating. F-35s, on the other hand, are slightly worse. It's still a fairly nice looking plane, but I really don't care for the F-35 as much. is a very expensive plane for, as you're about to see, not quite as good of a plane. Where is it? Here it is. 0.015, 0.0015. Again, from the front. So, these guys are both extremely stealthy. If I pull up, say, the F-16s, the F-16s are still fairly quote-unquote stealthy, but they're not designed to be super stealthy. They're 0.25 and 0.2 square meters. So, there's no reason not to have the radar on with the F-16s. The F-22s, on the other hand, unless I'm trying to engage with a radar-guided munition, I might as well keep the radars off. Same with the F-35s. So I'm going to end up doing that most of the scenario. The B-2 is the same way. It's also got a ridiculously small um, range, which is why I've turned its radar off. So its actual radar cross-section is 0.0015 square meters. Again, that's A through D band. A through D band are very good radars for stealth. They're 10 times as good at detecting stealthy aircraft. This is a case. This right here is an E or an F band radar. That's why I've not knocked out like the bar locks. So for now, the F-22s do have their radars on and operating and radiating, but they are also guiding munitions. Once they are done guiding munitions, I will switch them to passive radar. Also, they will RTB. And so the F-35s are radiating currently. Oh, hello. That's probably just another SA-2 or a IGLA or something silly like that. Sure as hell hope we knocked out. No, we did not. Oh, we did hit the bar lock. No, we hit the bar lock. That's not what I'm after. Oh well. Patriot batteries are going ham. I should probably launch another. Oh, hold on. I still have another unassigned flight. There we go. And there goes another Patriot. So I'm not quite going to be launching the fighter bombers yet because that's going to be the bulk of my attack force. Are going to be my fighter bombers. So the one thing that is most common at these bases are going to be fighter bombers. They're going to be the same models of aircraft as the originals, or as my fighters, my air superiority groups. It's like these. What are these? Block 42s. These are Block 42s, or no, they're Block 40s. It's like Flying Fiends. They're Block 40s. They've got a handful of fighter bombers. I know that I have some F-35s in fighter bomber configuration. Over here I have more F-15 or F-16 Block 52s in the fighter bomber config. And these are going to be the bulk of my attack force. These F-16s, F-35s, and F-22s will be the bulk of the actual strike group. But I need to soften it for things like the F-16s and the F-15s. The F-35s won't have a problem getting it. I can just stealth, or just have them go full stealth and have no radar on. And since, again, I have knocked out most of the good anti-stealth radars, because I don't know how good that thing is against stealth, but there's still a Tall King active and radiating. I should hit that, because I cannot stand for that. What's this up in their bar lock? There's another bar lock over here. I'm not too concerned if I knock out all of them. Odd pair. What are you doing way the hell over here, and what are you? Just a height finder. Okay. Bar lock, and bar lock. Okay. So I only need to hit the one radar again. And where do you think you're going? Okay, you're just on plotted course still. Because that's one of the downfalls actually to the F-35s is they have a fairly limited payload compared to like the F-22. If you notice, all they have is this an ALE-70, which is a towed decoy. Basically it's a countermeasure. They have that, they then have chaff, flare, and then the AMRAAMs. That's it. Even the F-22 has more than just two weapons, or one weapon. The F-22 has two. It always has sidewinders on it, and then it always has a secondary payload. Or well, then its primary payload. These guys, on the other hand, have their primary payload, and then that's it. Nice, another plane shot down. It's probably another MiG. Oh, those are primarily F-7s. Well, it's a mixture of MiGs and F-7s. Where are you trying to run away? Oh, another F-7. These might as well all be the same thing. They're all F-7s or MiG-21s to begin with, so... Nope, you need to keep going for a minute. Just keep them in your radar for a minute. Now, the reason I'm doing that is just in case, because I know I've seen in the past when the world was there for a moment. I've seen cases where the AMRAAMs, since they are guided by this data link here that's shown in orange, that they have, that once the planes start to RTB, they stop radiating their radar in the direction, stop illuminating the target, thus the target, the data link is absolutely worthless. So I like to keep my fighters that actually have a data link to a target for an AMRAAM, or to an AMRAAM for a target, heading on course, keeping the target illuminated with their radar until the seeker head the on the actual weapon is active. Once that's done, I can have them turn off stop radiating, and they can RTB as much as they wish. Now I do still have another flight of F-22s I can launch in a fighter config already set up in a fighter config. I'm not doing that for a reason right now. The main reason I'm not launching all my F-22s is they're the most potent weapon I have against anybody. The people I'm most concerned about is what will the Russians do? Because we do have a little bit of time before the Russians get involved, but the problem with that is once the Russians do get involved, they very frequently, since we're only neutral to them, their weapons will fairly frequently actually target us. And as a result, we will get into a full-on shooting war. Thus, it's great to have the reserve F-22s with their flights. Again, they're in a fighter configuration. I do have some small diameter bombs at that base too. So, hold on. What? Would somebody like to explain this? Ground contact mobile. Where the hell is the ground? What? Okay. I need a screenshot that. What the hell? Oh my word. Oh. What the hell? What in the world? I've never seen that before. I could believe it being here, but the box ends there. That cannot be a mobile, because mobile is a ground contact. That's not a. If I'm picking up a ground contact, that could be an S400 battery. But what the hell detected this? Okay, that's a SAM battery. I don't think it's in this box though, because game, you're drunk. But still, hold on. What the? Okay. I can believe that there is a SAM along that bearing that's not just this guy, this S5 Gammon or SA5 Gammon or S200 Vega, but in that box, no. I doubt that. Highly doubtful. So, where are you guys? MiG 23s okay, and F7s, that's fine. Things I want to know when the or MiG F29s MiG 29s start showing up, because they are at one of these three bases up here. Now, one of the things I will be doing before the final push is I will eventually be launching my F-35s in their F-35s that have the fighter bomber configuration set up, and I will be striking these air bases in here with them, because those bombs are fairly worthless against most targets, and I have much better bombs for things like knocking out tells. Hell, if I actually had a fighter bomber set up with cluster bomb units, I'd be perfect. Unfortunately, I do not. And I did fire most of my TLMDs already, but there was a good reason for that. Come on, activate your weapons, please. Let's launch another fighter group. And I'm still going to keep the U-2 on the ground. Again, there's still a known to be an S300 battery active. So, what the? Oh, it's another Patriot launching. Sounded different than the other Patriots. So, let's get this going. There's their surface action group. That is an S300 battery. Hmm. I still don't think that's in that box. Game, I don't know what you're drinking, but that's good to know where that is, or the vicinity that that's in. It is somewhere on this bearing. As I said, I highly doubt it's sitting on the freaking ocean. Um, Air contacts, I don't care. Probably more MiG 21s. These things are horribly outdated. Now, one thing I do want to know is, can I hit the Sinpo submarine pen with something other than freaking Mark 48s? Because if I have to go at it with Mark 48s, I'm going to be highly upset. Because that was one thing I didn't like about this scenario in modern air naval operations, was to go after that I had to use torpedoes. Of course. So, Shehan, I need you to come over here. I need you to go over there, and I need you to torpedo that. Because I can't launch a T-LAM at it. I don't understand why. I'm not allowed to launch a T-LAM at that. You would think that something like this thing would be vulnerable to, like, say, a JSOW, something with a penetrator, but no, I can't target it with that. I have to actually go and apparently torpedo the thing. Silly. So, hey, that's a Patriot kill. So the thing I do need to be careful about is these guys will use all of the weapons up. So we've got 25 MIM 104Ds. That's fine. More air contacts, probably more MiG-21s. Way up there. Okay. I know Russia's not involved yet, so that's not a Russian fighter. This is a Russian battle group, I guarantee that much. Yeah, that's the Buryans class. There's a few destroyers in there. So, Still a lot of fighters airborne. I need a knockout. Another flight of F-16s inbound. Let's get these guys up there. And do I have any more? I should probably launch another flight of F-18s to go with this. We're gonna do another 2-ship flight from the carrier. No, there's nothing there. Oh, I found the black nut. The back nut is hurting. Don't know if we knocked out this thing's radar. We do still have a Barlock over here radiating. It's probably this guy. Yeah, that's attached to that. It's not with this one. So they're still radiating ground-based radar systems. Who's shooting? Oh, it's these guys, okay. Just Super Hornet shooting. These guys up into the fight as well. So the good news of the SA5s, the main SA5 sites are down. They are not operable. Well, the ones in my area that I'm concerned about right now are inoperable. The problem is I've not touched any of the air defenses up here. So if I start wandering too far to the north, like this F-18 could potentially get shot at by the SA-5 right there. I can easily avoid the SA-5 missile, but it'd be annoying. Sango, that's a submarine. Sarwan Imperial Trawler, Nampo. That's probably another. Or Imperial Trawler, whatever the hell that is. So these guys are finally out of Amrams. And there goes another Patriot shot. I'm not 100% sure about the stealthiness of these guys because I haven't looked at these guys in a while. I think they're actually stealthier than most of the other aircraft I have, I think. They also have a metric ton of loadouts. No, so they're not actually as stealthy as like the F-16s, but still, they're not bad. Hold on, I almost forgot about one missile. There we go. What? I have no idea what that noise was, but okay. Lots of Patriots firing. It's a little unnecessary when I have fighters armed with AMRAAMs in the area that you guys fire your Patriots, but okay. Groups, okay. Where are you going? Where's this guy going? Are you just flying towards your death? Those are harms firing. Yep, he is flying in towards a Patriot battery. The welcoming arms of the MEM4 1OD Patriot. I have no clue where that thing thinks it's going. So that thing's moving at 350 knots at 17,000 feet. What are you doing? No, 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 no. Oh no, I'm a moron. What are you guys doing though? You're not supposed to be going that way. It's because those are harms, not AMRAAMs. They're homing in on the Barlocks and the Walrus. The Walrus is there, hitting these Barlocks. We're just down to one Barlock there. They've got a lot of Barlocks, but oh well. SA-3 is still operational potentially, another potentially operational SA-3, and there was another one too. I say potentially because I don't remember the fire control radar on those, and I'm not sure if I knocked out their fire controls. So, the wall rust is gone. So we have Barlock here, here, and here still operational. One talking. I do not want that talking to be operational much longer, because that thing could potentially be seeing my B2 over here right now. So they can see the B2 at all. That's a problem. We won't also really know until we get into range of the SA2s if they can actually see. Because I've knocked out the SA5s as far as I'm aware at this point. And I'm going to move up the B2 up into here now. At this point, I feel rather safe actually moving up into this area. That's me our fail safe for now. This flight opened. Now, if I do launch T-Lambs at this point, they will try to intercept them. So, what I'm going to do... Oh my word. So many Patriots being fired. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to saturate this area with a couple targets, hit a few targets simultaneously in this area that I can potentially hit and destroy with T-Lambs. So like this Tall King, the uplink relay, and as well as the entrance over here and the power station, nuclear power station, all simultaneously with T-Lambs-Cs. So they're going to be simultaneous launches, and I'll be firing... Why are you going back again? And I'll also be flying air superiority missions at the same time. No, I've not told you to stop flying course. It'd be nice if we identified all these fighters. Oh, they're probably all just more MiG-21s. They all lock onto the one unID'd target. It's probably MiG-21 dead. Okay, you can go home. Basically what the goal is going to be with those the air superiority flights is what I'm going to end up doing is, since I'm going to hit targets here, 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 and here, this will most definitely get them to sortie MiG-29s. If faster I can take MiG-29s out, the safer it'll be for my fighter bombers. And if I can get those MiG-29s to focus on something like, say, a T-LAM, I don't have to worry about potentially losing my F-16s. So that's going to be the goal with that. In fact, let's actually start that. There's the carrier strike group. Let's pause this. And we're going to engage Tall King with 3 T-LAM-Cs. You know, we're actually going to use some TACTOMs on this, too. Up here. Since we have a bunch of these, one of this, and one of this. And then it's the uplink relay. Let's go here. You only have 4 of these. You just launch them all. This one's probably going to be pissing them off the most to hit. And I hit this. We'll go here. Yeah, let's launch 4 or 5 from here. So the reason I'm going with more from those two, I should probably designate more to the power station up here, because I know that these airfields have the most potent air defense that they have. So I should probably dedicate more weapons up this way. But even striking here will piss off those air bases. So let's get those missiles away. So we do have a TAC-TOM out. And we should be able to find it because it does have a data link. There it is. That's the TAC-TOM right there. So that guy right there is our tactical tomahawk. As I said, before last night, they have a infrared camera in the front end of them and a data link. So I can actually tell this missile exactly how I want it to get to its target. So say I don't like this course, I could actually move this to like further to the north or further over this way. If I really wanted to, I could have it fly over Seoul before it goes and then only go over land, not have it hardly go over water. I could literally have it beeline for land. These other TLAMs, on the other hand, they're going to follow this path no matter what. I cannot tell them what to do. And why do you say Royal Navy on you? You guys should not be saying Royal Navy because this is the U.S. Navy. Okay, but we're gonna wait a few minutes before we launch any more aircraft. May also get them to calm down a little bit. But, time accelerate a little bit. In a minute, I want to let some of these aircraft actually land. You are radiating, correct? Yes. Okay. Do believe my Navy's radiating as well, which is less than optimal, but what are the Koreans going to do? The Nampo, I think, is their most potent actual surface combatant, and it only has SS-25 N-25 switchblades, which are not bad missiles, but they only have a range of 80 nautical miles. Do believe my harpoons actually outrange them. Let's go look at that real quick. So the harpoon ICRs have a range of 75, so they do actually outrange me, but I do have a very good defense against them. In fact, I could even load some of these guys onto aircraft and start launching at them. And if I really actually wanted to kill them, I have a submarine right here with harpoons as well. Only a handful of harpoons, but I'm not actually trying to fire those right now. And also, I do believe actually the JSOWs that some of my fighters do carry can potentially hit ground targets as well, but I'm not using them in that regard. So I will be using the JSOWs in a little bit. I'm going to be hitting, soon enough, I'll hit Myanyang and Chojodong naval bases. The problem is that there still is an SA-2 here, an SA-2 there, and an SA-5 further up the coast up there. So that's covering all of this. I don't want to touch any of this until I knock those out. That and somewhere up in here, there's an an S-300 somewhere. Don't I have any idea where it is currently, but that battery is nasty. I told you that thing was there. I told you I could believe it being... What? You still have it on the water. Oh my word. This does not look like something that can go on water. I could see it right there on the edge of that box, but I don't, as I said, I don't see it in this water area. I don't know what it's drinking right now. But this is approximately the range of the KN06 battery that I've been referring to up in here, which is the S300. It's a North Korean built S300 battery. It's got about the same capabilities as this thing does, the Grumble SA-10B Grumble, but it's a North Korean built system. They only have 1 battalion of them in this operation, or well, in this scenario. They are super new though, that the KN06, and actually I'll go and pull it up real quick. Go. I think it's like this. There it is. The Pongay 5. Yes, this is what they are. They're very potent weapon system. The KN06 is based on S300 though. So they have a range of 80 nautical miles, which if I was going again look at the SA-10, it would be that. This is the other thing we need to watch out for is the or the KN-11 Puksong 2. No, it's not the Puksong 2. It might be the Puksong 2, but I'm gonna pause that for a second. No, they're Pongays is what I'm knocking out. So they're Pong. No, they're not Pongays. I could be horribly wrong. I might have forgotten what they actually are. Nodongs, that's what they are. Nodongs. No dong. They're not aircraft, that's why. Let's go with facility. Yeah, here it is. It's the Nodong 2. It's listed as a 2020 unit, but it's not. So these are the. I don't actually have a picture of these guys. Here we go. So this is the kind of missile we're trying to knock out today. Or one of the two we're knocking out. The other one we're knocking out is going to actually be, if we go into the ship, the Sinpo. Which we don't have a picture of this guy, unfortunately. This is a bit wrong. Yes, the wrong thing. Sort was the Sinpo. Let me go, because I might be a little bit off on, I said side briefing. Does not want to bring up the side briefing. I'm sad. I swore it was the Sinpo. Is the submarine I'm after, but just a real quick comparison. I want to see if the range is again. These sites are ridiculous. I just want to make sure I'm getting. Yeah. The SA-10's not actually as good as the KN-06. I am surprised. So I'm going to want to watch out for the KN-06, which, as I said, it's going to be somewhere up in here most likely. It is believed, if I remember, if I read things correctly, it is believed to be operating up in here so it can defend the ballistic missiles better. Odd pair, you are, what are you? What band? You're E-band, you're fine. I don't care too much about you. Okay, do we have any fighters here? There we go. No, unfortunately not. Not for 4.5 minutes. Yay, lag. So I've actually managed to prevent the North Koreans from actually launching very many SAMs this scenario, which is good because the SAMs actually are quite a nuisance. The SA-2 does have a hard time hitting my fighters and fighter bombers. With how hard it is for it to hit those, it's also going to be very hard for it to hit the B-2. The SA-5 is actually fairly capable, interestingly, and it likes to actually get involved if you don't knock it out. That's due to its ridiculous range. That's this guy here. But again, I've knocked these guys out, or well, two of them out of operation. They have a range of 155 nautical miles. Jeez. And I do have it on 5 times acceleration currently because I'm trying to get these missiles, these T-LAMs in closer. Once they're an acceptable distance, I'll start launching fighters. But my primary goal right now is to actually knock out their fighter defense as best as possible before I start sending in like fighter bombers and bombers. Well, bomber. All my P8 Orions will actually act as bombers. Because I do have some P8 Orions with slammers. New surface contacts. Skunk. I have no clue where those guys are. I don't think I need to worry too terribly much about them. Now, there is an additional view in this game, which I'm not using right now. It's the TAC view. I do not actually have the TAC view currently. It's like another 50 some odd dollars, but it's fairly good to have. I'm just not using it currently because, again, well, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm fairly cheap. Oh, I did not ask for that. There we go. This game is not necessarily cheap to begin with, but it's a fairly good game. Now, one thing I did not mention yesterday when I streamed this, the Command Modern Air Naval Operations is very good at what it does. It actually has 2 versions of the game out, which you can't buy either of them anymore. One was there's the side briefing finally. Let me pause this. I want to make sure I know what I'm trying to hit. Sinpo, yeah, it's the Sinpo, okay. And no dongs. But the CMANO, you have the Declassified War Game of the Year edition, which is what I own for that one. And then you have the classified version used by the Pentagon for training the US military. So that can tell you how good these games actually are with their database. These games are fairly accurate. There's actually more accuracy actually in things like the actual classified version that we cannot get our hands on. Well, a civilian like I myself can't get my hands on. The other part then is there's this one, which I don't know if there's a classified version of this. I would not be surprised if there is. But again, I don't work for the government, so unfortunately I do not have that information. The only reason I know about that is it is knowledge. Well, or actually, it is knowledge actually that has been made public that yes, Command Modern Air Naval Operations is used in training. You just don't get to see the version that's used for training. And we're going to switch this to 2x. And I'm going to launch fighters from here. If I have some fighters here, that is, that are ready. I have a pair of fighters, okay. And do I have any more fighters? No, these are all just fighter bombers at this point. Okay. Go on ahead. Next base I'm going to launch from is up here. Now there's another thing here is that there's the custom overlay or the custom layers. I'm not actually using that because of this version of the game is so much better, because the main reason to use them is like, oh, I've got this airbase. I'm actually going to pause it real quick and try and zoom in on this one airbase. It might not actually. No, it is going to load it up. So I can actually see this airbase. In the previous game, it would still be the same thing. I can switch this to the unit view, and I can see, oh, hey, there's all of these. Here's the actual runway, which is a 8,000-foot runway, ammo shelter, runway gate raid taxiway, access point, another access point. There's going to be more access points down here. Bunch of tarmac spaces, shelters, whatnot. But I couldn't see that in the previous game. But I could do that by taking like a picture from, say, a like Google Earth or Google Images Maps. Take a picture of that with enough data to tell the game, hey, put this here, and just put in that one file, those files, and be like, hey, load this here, and I could then see, hey, here's this right in this location. There's a airbase right there, or hey, there's the back nut. There's this SAM battalion. So I might not be able to see the SAM battalion, but no, it doesn't want to load up nicely. But I can see things like, say, this runway over here. This is going to be the Wonsan airbase. Yeah, again, it might not load it, but you get the picture that this actually is fairly nice compared to the previous map rendering. So I'm not 100% sure. This might also be a deactivated missile battery at this point too, because again, I might have knocked out the fire control radar. So the entire goal with knocking out these batteries, these air defense batteries, all you need to actually do is knock out, either deplete them of missiles or knock out their fire control. If you make them blind, they cannot shoot. Well, they can't shoot their primary missiles. This battery, which is a Volkov battery, does also have Strela 2s, which do not care, but they've only got 2 nautical mile range instead of 30. I do believe the SA-5 also has like Strelas or Iglas. No, it does not. It just has ZU-23 2s. So it does not actually have another IR SAM. I'm not sure if these guys have IR SAMs to go with them. Because again, this is another battery that you just knock out the... This does have Strelas to go with it. It's another case that you just knock out the radar and it's done for. It'll still be on the map, but it won't be shooting back at you. Yeah, let's go and launch 2 more fighters. Yeah, no, we're gonna launch all 4. I do also have these guys down here. These are Block 52 like peace bridges or something like that. Problem is that they're only armed, and they can only be armed with AIM-9Ps. Namely the AIM-9P4, which is an all-aspect Sidewinder, but still, it's a Sidewinder. It only has a range of 10 nautical miles instead of like 50. Even the AIM-120B would be a far better option. So, we don't want that. If we come over to here, database viewer, go to weapon. So the AIM-120, so AIM-120Bs have a range of 40 nautical miles versus, let's see, AIM-9s are the next big one. Of course, goes AIM-92 first. And we do have M's on our, so we do have the AIM-90 or AIM-9Ms right here on our F-22s, which is still another all aspect. Then you have this one right here, the AIM-9P4, which is another all aspect missile, which I do believe is actually slightly better than the M model. Yes, here's the M model, and it's what I have on my F-22s. No, the M's even better. Ooh. Basically, the reason for that is the AIM-9M. Well, the F-22, it's an internal weapon. Yeah, the AIM-9X will handle it fairly nicely, but for some reason, what I have are the AIM-9Ms. I don't know why. But the Peace Bridges have export models, namely the P4. And again, it's an export model. It's not meant to be the best of the best weapon. Oh, perfect. We're going to have a B-2 entering the airspace. So what I'm going to end up doing then is we're going to end up having fighters enter the area around the same time that the B-2 is actually entering its final loiter point. And hello, Kalania. How you doing tonight? So I've got the B-2 actually up in here tonight. Got another round of Tomahawks. We're actually gonna try to upset. Why are they're all probably returning to base? I think up there. I have no clue why they're all just sorting that way. Yeah, I can understand the sleepy part. New air contact. What? Okay. For some reason, they're going towards Russian, and I still see it has that S-300 battalion on the water. Oh my. I don't even know why I try sometimes to think logically with that. Oh well. So right now, I do have another set of Tomahawks that are inbound for a few targets in this area. We're going to be doing the starting the bunker busting in Pyongyang. And I'm also launching fighters now to help cover both the B-2 and the Tomahawks at this point. So, because I still have a talking to worry about, which, again, B-2, it's a very stealthy aircraft, but again, the P-14 Talking is actually a decent radar for detecting stealth because of its band. And it's, I think, their only one operating that's meant, or it's used primarily for that purpose. Okay, let's send these guys up. So there we go. I was waiting for that guy to take off finally. Now we're gonna launch some more out of Osan in a minute. I think Osan still has more actual fighters. Yeah, we have a lot of fighters on the ground there. But my entire goal with these fighters flights is to actually get them on target at about the same time as the Tomahawks are. So I want them to be right on top of the Tomahawks, pretty much. Either on top of or behind. Unfortunately, due to the delay down here with the launch of that final unit from Kunsan, they're going to be a bit behind, a bit further behind than I would like them to be. We're going to launch a 4-ship flight right now, actually. And I'm still going to hold the remainder of my F-22s in reserve for now. As much as I might want to get the F-22s active, because they are really good planes, the problem with putting them up right now is my fighter, they're all loaded out currently on the ground at the one base I'm going to use. They're only loaded out with bombs. Their primary load is bomb. On the other hand, I do still have another flight of fighter loadouts at another airbase. Thing is, I'm holding on to those because they're a lot closer to Russia. So if Russia ends up messing up and actually engaging us, it's better to hold on to them and have them ready. Because then I can shoot at things like their MPAs near my submarines. So that's the only reason I'm not using all the F-22s currently. It'd be nice if this would stop lagging a little bit, but it's fine. It's not too bad. I definitely have seen a lot worse. I'm super tired tonight. Jeez. I was tired all day while I was working, but oh well. Just means I'll get better sleep tonight. That's probably another T-Lam. Yeah, that's a T-Lam. Okay, can we not chug like that? Get. You can stop doing that. Hopefully that helps out a little bit. Actually, I'm going to close out of that entirely. Because that's my actual other screen capture software that I was just had up. I normally have that for like screenshots, sometimes for other purposes, but it doesn't do live, unfortunately. So, I have Elson. I was looking over at the right, like, why do I have all this stuff? Oh, wait, I have Osan up and looking at it. Osan has a very short runway, holy crap. It's 3,200 meters compared to like the 8,000 over at this one over here, Kumni. So, good news is I should be able to do this again tomorrow night, actually, as well. Hopefully I won't be as sleepy tomorrow, because today's just been really bad with how tired I've been. Oh well. So is life. And just how slowly time is ticking in this is not helping. That's 2x acceleration. It's taking more than a second to go a second. That's insane. We could also be approaching where the Russians have launched their aircraft. That could be a possibility. Because if so, there's a lot of aircraft that we don't see yet that are aircraft. Wow, English. That are airborne. That I just straight up don't see, but the game has to process anyways. Because there could be aircraft as far north as um, like northern Sakhalin. And again, I won't be seeing them until they get to like near Vladivostok. Because they have air bases way off the map currently. Yeah, they have air bases way up there. I think they even have more further out than that. It also doesn't help there's a million sonobuoys that I don't see. Because this is all the sonobuoys that I've laid and that the Japanese have laid. This does not include all the Russian sonobuoys. So, that's ridiculous. Oh yeah, and I also forgot I have a whole bunch of sonobuoys down here. There's going to be more sonobuoys up here because of the helixes and... What else are those? I know it's... Oh, helix and hormones. The helicopters. So... Good news, tonight we'll definitely get more than... Or definitely get more than another hour of the actual in-game time to pass. Where are you guys? Oh, you guys are all... Probably doesn't help that I have a million planes deciding that they finally can refuel. Especially when they don't need to be refueling. How close are you to your point? You're not far at all. Wow. I'm not feeling safe sending you up there until I get... Oh, the goal in this video is to... I've got multiple objectives. The primary objectives are I have 3 command control and communications targets to hit. Need to hit the Sinpo submarine pen. I have to hit a nuclear power station that's under construction, 2 nuclear production sites. I also need to sink the Sinpo and knock out Nodong 2 transporter erector launchers. Those are my primary targets. Secondary targets are the North Korean air bases and the North Korean naval bases. I'm not actually striking those targets yet, the secondary targets yet. My current round of actual offense strikes are going to be against the nuclear power station here, the entrance to the nuclear research center here, the satellite uplink relay here, and I think I'm going to go for the defense HQ right there, command HQ right there, with the B-2 bomber. I'm still searching for the Sinpo, and sadly, the only thing I can have actually hit the submarine pen is a Mark 48 torpedo. Well, I can fire Mark 54s at it, but I have nothing anywhere near that with Mark 54s. So for finding the launchers, I do have a U-2 spy plane. It's currently on the ground because there's still a KN-06 battery, both armed and operational, somewhere up in that area. And I don't feel like messing with the KN-06 right now, because that thing is absolutely ridiculous. So mostly I'm keeping my operations currently on the southern port, right along the border and into Pyongyang, where I've got the air defenses pretty much neutralized. It's mostly aircraft I have to worry about. And most of the aircraft in this region are MiG-21s. So I can just flood the area with F-16s and have most of my problems solved. Because there might seem to be a lot of air defenses here, but I did launch a very early Tomahawk land attack missile dispenser assault. So this SA-2 might still be operational. I know this SA-5 here and the SA-5 over here have not been firing at me, which has been good. So I'm assuming that those two batteries are without fire control radars at this point. Currently, I'm covering a Tomahawk land attack missile strike that I've launched on most of the targets in the Pyongyang area. The B-2 over here is also going to make a move in a few minutes, actually. I'm waiting for everything to get closer, because there still is a singular P-14 Tall King, which is a band capable of actually has a decent capability of actually spotting stealth. So I'm fairly worried about moving him with that guy still radiating. So that's also my current strike as well. But this B2 is armed with two GPU 57AB MOPs. So it is entirely possible I could knock out one of these bunkers in the Pyongyang area with a single bomb. The problem is I have to hit the target first. So I have targets all over North Korea that I need to hit. There's a couple of other targets that I'm not supposed to hit but are in my target list, including the rest of the Yongbyon Nuclear Research Center. The only one I'm actually allowed to hit and get points for hitting is the center entrance. So, yay. So let's actually, do I dare go in? Cause that SA-3. Do I worry about the SA-3 too much? I don't think the SA-3 is active. Yeah, we're gonna. No, we don't want to engage manual. We want to engage auto. All right, B2 is gonna finally go in. But yeah, do have over here, right here, one U2S spy plane. I am keeping it grounded for now. It's also entirely possible to keep it grounded longer than I want to, because the Russians are only neutral in this scenario. Because they're also striking North Korea, but they're also not cooperating. They've not actually launched their strikes yet, but they will soon enough. So this scenario is fairly complicated to worry about, or to actually take part or conduct, but it is quite the interesting scenario. It is actually, especially for when it was actually wrote, because this is one of the live scenarios, actually. some of the older live scenarios too. It's just MiG-23s, MiG-21s, okay. Okay. Slowing down a little bit again, but that's fine. Still want to know what that guy is, but oh well. I know it's not Russian. That's the only thing I know about it. The other reason I'm not launching the U2 currently is I do still have an SA-5 further up the coast, closer to Russia, still active as well. And it's actually entirely possible that thing would shoot down the U2 before the Pong-A, or the KN-06 would. But those two air defense systems are the ones I'm concerned with. Air contacts, where are we looking at air contacts? That's another Russian. That's Russian MP, I'm not concerned. Not right now. That looks like they might have launched aircraft, I don't know. Those might just be a bunch of like blinders. Tu-22s. So those could just be Tu-22s, A-50s. So that could be like AWACS and ELINT and stuff like that. Jammer. There's a blinder up there. I do believe there's a blinder up there actually, right now. Yeah, no, those guys over there are jammed. Don't really care. But the thing to know is I'm also working to preserve stealth on my stealth aircraft, so like the B2 is not currently radiating on its radar. B2 won't radiate on radar at all. F-22 will only radiate when prepping to fire AMRAAMs. Same with the F-35. So the F-35 is going in with only bombs. It's never going to radiate. No point in radiating if you don't need, in actually doing so if you don't actually need to. So and it's a lot harder to shoot down an aircraft you cannot see. I think these MiG-21s are all returning to base. I have no clue why they all decided to run towards the north or towards the Russian border for some reason too. Because that was fun. Of course, it just means that they're all going to get shot down. So that'll make it even more fun. So the one thing about this scenario is it does not score you based on aircraft shot down. It scores you, I think it's like 100 points for completing a main objective, 50 for each secondary objective building you destroy. And then I think that's about the ones I remember. But it also deducts 50 points for every plane you lose, or 100 for every high value plane you lose. So things like my B2 is a high value aircraft, the U2 is a high value aircraft. So the U2, the B2, the P8, the P3, those are all high value. So my ELINT, my AWACS, MPAs, bombers, high value. But my F-22s, the F-35s, the F-16s, the F-15s are all just standard aircraft. So, and as I said yesterday, my goal with this scenario is to get this done by the 12th, actually. Overnight the 12th. Won't be streaming that late the 12th because I do have exams early the 13th. But after the 13th, I will not be anywhere near my desktop. I'll be 4 hours away. Because I will be on my winter break, and I'm not taking this desktop with me. Not dragging it back home, and I'm not dragging it to Boston at the end of the break. So, especially when I'm not going to use it when I'm in Boston. Just straight up won't have time to use anything there. Okay. Hmm. Okay. More Tomahawks there. New air contacts. It's probably up here. So that's what the Sorry one looks like. Okay. Let's try to figure out what those things look like. Okay. Still don't know what a Nimpo looks like. Vloggers. These are probably more MiG-21s. That's a lot of MiGs up there. F-7Bs and MiG-21 Biz. Lots of them. Good news, they're moving into the very welcoming arms of my F-16s. Who are not even moving at full speed yet, because I don't want them to. Oh, that's right. Congratulations, you guys decided. Apparently I'm losing plane. What? Why did you just shoot me over to Africa? Wow. Apparently I'm losing planes to their own stupidity at this point. Because I think those guys, yeah, those were growlers. They decided they wanted to go and refuel. Apparently they failed to refuel. Okay. I'm not 100% sure because I don't CPU or the GBU or the 123 Paveway 2s. I can look real quick because I think I might even have some of those. I think I have Paveway 3s. What are you guys armed with? You're armed with the Paveway 3s. They should have a fairly high reliability because they have a reliability of 85% on these. I'm not sure about the Paveway 2s. CPU 123. Let's look at this one. 95 and 85. I don't think it's a 50-50 shot, but then again, you never know. Like, I expect most of these TLAMs to work, which is why I'm not firing more than a handful. The thing I do expect is that a lot of them won't actually detonate on a target because the targets will die. Yeah, that can happen. Like, I know this strike, I'm probably gonna have like 2 or 3 of these TLAMs are going to malfunction. Almost guaranteed 2 of them will malfunction. At least one will. But the question is going to be how many do, but also how many only impact the surface. Because a lot of their targets will get destroyed before they actually reach their targets, which will result in them not actually hitting a target. That's part of why I actually have a TAC tom as well, is this thing I can tell it, hey, I actually want you to hit this target. Or I want you to hit, say, this radar. So I can retarget this guy if I need to. I'm probably just going to have it go all the way. But I'm also eventually going to start launching aircraft with Slammer ATAs. And those things are fun to use as well. And I've actually not played through all the tutorial mission scenarios. But I know how most of the stuff works at this point. It's like the ASW, literally all I'm doing is I'm setting up a mission that says, hey, do ASW. And in the case that I find something that is most likely the SINPO or it's a ballistic missile sub, I'm just going to go and tell them, my MPAs, engage that target. I don't care what it is. The the rest of my Air Force is mostly going to be using automatic attacks. But most of the rest is just going to be automatic attacks for me, so it's fairly simple. I'm definitely not going to allow the U2 to do its actual mission that it normally would do. I'm going to launch it on my own accord. What in the world are all these MiGs doing? They're disregard. Are they just on a hard RTB? Are they out of fuel? And there goes another Patriot. I hate it when Patriots decide, hey, I want to get involved instead of the unit that's actually closer and at the risk right now. Yeah, I needed you guys to point this way. No point wing for the Sono buoy. I don't care. It's Russian. Yeah, I couldn't wait for that. I I straight up did not have time to wait for a MIM 104 to arrive. They're fast, they're not that fast. Here come the MiG-23s at high speed. They're a little upset. I think they're more upset at my fighters than they are about the T-Lams, but it's kind of something you'd expect. Fighters are flying at 36,000 feet. The T-Lams are flying, let's see, at 200 feet above sea level, or not sea level, but above ground level. One of our Kiev targets is destroyed. So that'd be the uplink relay that was over here. Streams of anti-air missiles. Oh, they're pissed off about the guys going after the Tall King. Tall King is eliminated. Again, that's by far their most potent radar left around at this point. Still got one missile there. Don't care about the contact changes yet. Yeah, see, they don't even know that the B2's there at this point. I guarantee you if I was actually radiating with the B2's radar, they would note there was a B2 there. But that's the entire reason why I'm not doing that. Because especially passing right by that bar lock, they're going to be more pissed off about the T-Lam than a non-radiating B2. I can guarantee it. That battery's not functioning. Another sonobuoy, don't care. So at the B2, I'm actually going to be hitting the defense HQ. Russians, or the North Koreans are engaging the Russians. This is going to get hot fast. So the B2, it's only armed with a pair of massive ordnance penetrators. So this right here is a hardened bunker. I'm going to hit the bunker with those guys because they're massive. I could potentially also hit this up here as well. Yep. Oh, and here go the Russians. And that's a SAM from where? That's going to be 2 SA-5s. Yeah, the Russians, they join in at about 22 hours, or 2 hours in. But yeah, both sides, it's going to get very hot very fast because they're only neutral. So I do have another flight of F-22s, which I'm going to still keep on the ground over here. I have all these guys over here. But as I said, I'm going to keep this flight right here on the ground until I know if I need them or not. And the Russians have different targets than me. So the Russians, their goals are to sink the Sinpo, destroy the Nodong 2s. So the Russians do make it slightly more difficult. If I end up accidentally engaging them, they go in completely hostile and it will be a massive shooting war. It'll be a massive slugfest. If they accidentally engage me, that makes them completely hostile immediately. And again, it's a massive slugfest. So I'm free to engage their missiles, but their planes and ships, no. Not until they shoot me. It won't fail the scenario if I do shoot first, but it makes it a hell of a lot more difficult. Yeah, I don't want to shoot unidentified aircraft anymore. If they're over in here, yeah, they're fine to shoot right now. That one's definitely hostile. These are all hostile. Anything over, these are possibly MiG-29s over here. But up here, these are probably like Su-24 or Su-25. No, those are going to be Su-24-7s, I think. Yeah, 27 SMs. Su-27s and Su-34s. There's going to be some MiG-31s. So to avoid being shot at by them is to avoid operating in the same area as them. Well, avoid operating in areas that they're already dogfighting in. So I don't want to be up in here right now. I absolutely do not want to be in the northern end of North Korea at this moment. So my U-2 is definitely not going to be in the air for a little bit because it's going to be operating up in here. Also, there's going to be a stream of missiles. This SA-5 site will be empty very quickly. And also, we will very quickly know where the S-300 is because it will start shooting as well. So that's the good news about this. We will know where their air defenses are up there. The downfall, though, if I do accidentally get into a shooting war with the Russians, I know they have at least an S-300 battery. They probably have an S-400 battery. And the S-400 battery is much more capable than anything else on the map. I think about the only thing equally as capable are my Navy's surface-to-air missiles. And those things are very capable. So I need to be careful. The other thing is, the only ways I'm gonna find things like the S400 and the S300s. If the S300 if the K806 is radiating, I'll find it via passive radar. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to fly over it with a freaking U2 to spot it, or I'm gonna have to wait for it to start shooting. Same with the S400. In fact, that's the only reason I know where this battery right here potentially is. I don't even think it's right there. I think it's actually more up in here or somewhere up in here. It's just a case of the game is put it there in the middle of the water. But as I said, I know it's on land somewhere. And that thing is a very bad thing. I don't want to actually be pissing off that battery up there. Well, actually, I don't have to worry too much about that battery. That's a very short-range battery, actually. The KN06 is a much more capable battery, actually. Weapon endgame. Ah, they're shooting down my T-lambs. I don't care. I don't think I'm hitting the one target anyway, but oh well. Kind of glad I actually sent that T-lamb, or the attack tom up there. Oh, well, I'll have to hit this other bait group. MiG-23s. This is just MiG-23s. I was hoping to get their MiG-29s off the ground. And you guys are... Oh, yep, that right there's gonna be the Pong-A. That's gonna be the S-300. I absolutely guarantee that's the S-300. That is definitely not coming from the SA-2. So about in there is gonna be the KN-06. Somewhere in there. They're engaging those, which I guarantee are guided missiles. And they've successfully engaged them. Most of them. So right there. So I know that point there is likely to be a surface-to-air missile battery. A road mobile one, too. Mops are away. Well, one mop's away, or both of them. Both of them are. So I'm actually going to pause. Shoot! Thought I disabled all you guys. That's just a Neva, it shouldn't be too bad. Son of a pup. Well, I'm not rebasing that. Could have swore I disabled that one, oh well. Apparently I did not disable all the SA3s. I will have to deal with those. So that puts a wrinkle in that. Well, that one's known disabled, that one is active, and so is that one. That one's likely disabled as well. I'm pretty sure that's considered a high contact, or high, not high contact, but a high value aircraft. What have you got? Yes, please engage the guy that's chasing you guys. Don't care what you do it with, just kill it. Thank you. You guys do that too, please. That's that. Oh, that's just another SA5. Don't care. Kind of sad that I lost the B2. Not that although I'm not gonna be, would never have been able to use it again. Because unfortunately, it takes like 6 to 18 hours to arm the damn thing. And I would have had to have rebased it to one of the other bases because I only have the 2 mops. And that's the only actual ammunition I have at that base that can be used for the bomber. Because sadly, the base that the B2 came from, most of what's based there, or most of the ammunition there, is like AIM-9Xs and AIM-120s. Oh, I still have more T-Lambs airborne. Just they're now really concerned with killing Russians. Still super upset that those guys decided to commit suicide. They'll be firing their missiles here. That guy will fire his missiles soon enough and he'll be out of the way. Now, I'm pretty sure there's some heavy damage on that base, so I should be very good to... not good, it should be very easy to kill it at this point. The next strike I'll launch will be these guys. I do believe this is the... No, it's not the bunker busters I have. Other bunker busters I have. It's down here then. I don't know if one of these bases has... Yeah, it's this guy. The BLU 122Bs are my heavy bunker busters at this point. So these guys are 2,000 pound bunker busters, or no, 5,000 pound bunker busters. They're not as potent as the 30,000 pound mops, but I only had two. Yes, I got the two mops off. The mops did impact target. I'm not 100% sure on damage because again, it's a bunker. I'm just kind of upset the Neva's got the kill. I'm more upset because it's points than the fact I was going to be able to use it again. Because I was probably going to end up loading it with like 82,000-pound dumb bombs and possibly just carpet bombing your bases with it. Just because I freaking can. And because I have the 2,000-pound bombs. But I was going to have to fly it back to... I was going to have to rebase it over here. Yeah, over here. That's the base that actually has those bombs. But the bad news for the North Koreans, I now know if those Navas are still operational, which means I can kill them. If they had not fired, I would never have shot them again. So, yeah, they cost me a very expensive aircraft, but in the long run, is it going to be... Why have you run out of... Oh my... There's no way in hell it got over there. I don't know why it's shooting me over to 0-0. Come on. Come on. And I know what that guy down there is. That's actually an over-the-horizon radar down there by the Philippines. So that's my ballistic missile radar, basically. Come on. But I absolutely love that these things decide, hey, let's go refuel. Oh, we're all running out of fuel. It's like, seriously, guys, you didn't need to refuel. You literally just took off. You're completely filled with fuel. Oh well. So that's, I think, 4 aircraft, 2 Growlers, and 2 F-16s lost due to running out of fuel. What are you? You're probably just a cargo ship then. Yeah, it's like a cargo ship or something. But part of what's going to cause all the lag for this is going to be the crazy number of sono buoys over here. Because this operation has literally everything. The only thing it does not have is ground ops. So it's got ASW, potentially has ASUW, so anti-surface. It has very large amounts of anti-air, as well as anti-ground operations. So it is absolutely ridiculous. It's a good scenario. It's well worth the $3, but it is very complicated to run. And I don't have a poor or a bad computer or anything, but there's just a lot more going on than in some of the other scenarios I know of. Because there's going to be a lot of missiles here in a minute. Because pretty much all of Su-24s, not Su-24s, 27s, all have like or KHO 101s and have like AS4 kitchens on them. There's going to be a lot of missiles. there's a lot of missiles I do not see. There's going to be several like caliber missiles being fired from the naval forces. There's going to be kitchens, so AS4s, KH-101s. There's going to be a lot of stuff. Not to mention there's going to be F-31 Foxhounds going airborne. And those are the most potent non-US fighter in this scenario, or it's the MiG-31. MiG-31 does have a beyond visual range missile capability. It moves it around Mach 2. I think it moves at like not Mach 2, but like 1500 knots. So it can book it. So it is faster than, I do believe it's faster than the F-22s I have. So it is ridiculous. Because my fastest plane is the F-22, and those things move at those things move at 1,000 knots. So they're not slow, but MiG-31s are ridiculous. The North Koreans, their most potent is the MiG-29, which does not actually stand a chance in this scenario. They do stand a chance against like the F-16s, but once they bring out the F-22s again, they're dead. They just have a bunch of them. It's like I'm telling you, most of these missiles are probably gonna be like AS4s and KH-101s. Even though it's calling them vampires, they're air-launched cruise missiles most likely. It's looking like they actually ran out of KH-101 or KN-06s. So it might be nearly safe to launch the U-2. Up in endgame, what's going on up there? Yep, there's a lot of kitchens. A lot of the KH-22 NAs. So KN-06 impacts AS4 kitchen. Liberty Bells. It's more those, okay. New air contact, that's probably this guy. Bogey's gonna probably be a fighter or an attack aircraft. It's gonna be Russian in origin. A-10 Salmo, SARS, missiles. Okay. But the other thing that really sucks is the Russians have a lot more strategic bombers than I do in this scenario. I only have the one, and I've already lost it, unfortunately. The Russians, on the other hand, I know for sure have four at the very least, but they're like Tu-60s and they carry big ol' honking missiles on them. So I'm never gonna see their strategic bombers. Meanwhile, mine just carries two big ol' honking bunker busters on it, or just carpet bombs the air bases. Honestly, it might actually be possible. It might actually be safe to do this now. Holy crap, I've already got you guys ready. But I can hit four of their air bases with this. With these guys. These things are pretty much not going to be too useful for much of anything else. Because these are not actual bunker busters, they're 1,000-pound bombs. Now I'm gonna dedicate these guys to hitting secondary objectives. So 2 flights of 2. I'm also gonna launch these guys. And these guys, because I do need these guys airborne. I'm keeping my F-18s in reserve because I have very limited amounts of AMRAAMs on the carrier. Oh, they're chucking chaff out. Missile! It's probably gonna be that guy. Yeah, it's that guy. It's be another cruise missile. It'd be nice if you launched your anti-radiation missiles, please. Actually, you can do this because you don't have any offensive armament to defend you against aircraft. I don't have any fighters up there. Or you? You are more growlers. I can actually solve the fighter issue. Which is a group. So I do have right now the Shihan is actually slowly creeping its way up towards the Sinpo submarine pen. Yay, more Patriots, okay. But it's slowly creeping up towards the Sinpo submarine pen. Because, oddly enough, the only thing I can actually hit that pen with is a torpedo. Because why not? Can't even use bunker busters on it, I have to actually torpedo the darn thing. So, let's see, what's that? Oh, that's the SA-2 site, okay. Doing self-defense. Hey, we landed it. Oh no, we didn't. They landed it on my TLMCs. Vampire. Oh, that's right, I had the other Sam, okay. No, not from there, okay. Caliber malfunctions, caliber impacts. What are you? That's another. 2 of the 3 calibers malfunctioned. I love that. Thank you, game. Ah, it was missile fire, okay. So, wait on everything here to take off. Absolutely everything. I'm pretty much vacuuming the ground there. Jeez. I think unfortunately we have to wait for them to arrive tomorrow. Because it is 1:05. Yeah, it's another TLM shot down. That's fine. I don't care. knocked one of them out with a Patriot. So, it's 3 more T-lambs still for them to shoot down. That's another. It'd be nice to know if they're actually firing. If I knew they were firing missiles, but oh well. Probably not gonna hit that research center entrance, but Vampire. It's fine if I don't. It's annoying. They fired guns at it. Yeah, so we're not hitting that. Okay. Okay, that's fine. ARGM's gonna hit that guy. I have no clue. Oh, that's another ARGM. And they are engaging the ARGM with SA-2s. Yeah, my only part of that I'm tasked with hitting is the um entrance. The Russians, on the other hand, have the rest that they're targeting. So it's like my entire task is do not hit the rest of it because that'd technically be a violation of the Geneva Convention. Meanwhile, Russia, Geneva Convention, what Geneva Convention? We never heard of such a thing. We need something that's good for the television. It's a lot of missiles. Yeah, these are probably just guys chucking AS4s downrange. Because that's the other way I can... No, they're not hiding nuclear missiles. The nuclear missiles are up here. So that's where the nuclear missiles came out of. But again, I'm not allowed to strike it, because that could potentially be a violation of the Geneva Convention, and ow, that hurt. But no, striking that could potentially be a violation of the Geneva Convention. Who the hell's firing, and what are you firing? Oh, it's AMRAAM. That's loud for the AMRAAMs, holy moly. Yeah, the fuel storage sites could potentially be radiological. Because that's where their nuclear weapons are stored, according to this. And they've supposedly pulled 2 to 4 out. This is another place I am striking, which is the production center. Both the east and west, or north and west entrances. But I'm only striking the entrances. Basically make it so you cannot go in and out. The power station construction, I'm supposed to hit that as well. Primarily my targets are C3. So command control communications. As well as their storage capabilities. But I also have a very large capability of anti-ballistic missiles. I have 2 Aegis cruisers, 2 Aegis destroyers. I have several PAC-3 Patriot batteries, which are capable of doing anti-ballistic missile. I do have to find them. I've not found their launchers yet. I'm gonna have the U2 do that when it's safer than big old dogfight up there. And Sam's going left and right. I was holding it back because of the S-300 that's up there too, but I'm pretty sure that the S-300's out of missiles. That sounds like a hit on something. The U-2's been grounded the entire time because of safety reasons. The other thing I do need to find, and that's what this mess over here is the Sinpo, which does have 2 more nuclear weapons as well. 4 to 8 hours. So we're about 3 hours in. Or actually, we're 2 hours and 15 minutes in. It's been a little bit less than that since the order was given to fire. Or, well, since the order was likely given. And since then, I've also decapitated the communication structure. They do not have communications, most likely. So I'm going to need to act at some point. The other fun part is we don't know the targets. So they could end up attacking the Russians. They could attack the South Koreans. They could attack the Japanese. So it doesn't matter what they end up shooting at. If it's South Korea or Japan, they're going to end up pissing off multiple Aegis vessels, and they'll end up, if it gets past the Aegis vessels, they'll end up pissing off the PAC-3 batteries. So I have plenty of air defense. I don't know what the Russians have for or for anti-ballistic missile. I know they have the containers up here, which those things are dedicated to like spotting missiles when they're or ICBMs when they're launched. They're absolutely ridiculous radars. Hopefully it won't. It's going to come down to, do I find them in time? Because not all the tells have nuclear missiles on board. Not all don't, though. Because I think it tops out at 4 to 6 missiles. I don't care about sonobuoys. That's just a Russian. I mean, there's a Russian MPA somewhere nearby. No, we know where it's likely to be, though. We know where it's likely to be. We have it narrowed down to somewhere up in here. So basically what's going to end up happening is when I do launch it, it's going to come out of Osan Air Force Base. It's going to fly up into here and just patrol and loiter over there finding targets. And by that point, I'm also going to launch the F-22s armed with SDBs, small diameter bombs. And those things will be loitering with their radars off. So I'll have very solid air superiority in the region. I'll have the U-2 just flying around. If I have to, I'll send up F-18s for extra air superiority. I have plenty of aircraft still that I can do air superiority with. And if I absolutely need to, I still have more F-22s way over here in Misawa. And they're armed with AIM-120s and as well as small diameter bombs. So I have the capability of protecting that from the air. It's going to be the SAMs that's the problem. So the big question is going to be, will the Russians end up accidentally engaging me? If they do, how quickly can I take out the S-400 battery that I don't see on the map yet? I'm going to need ELINT to find that. In fact, I should probably launch an ELINT. And it's lagging. I'm probably going to launch the ELINT now, wait for it to get airborne, and then call it a night, because I am kind of tired tonight. You're not on a mission, okay. Yeah, so I do have a couple of Eland up here. I'm gonna launch one of them. Let's see if I can't find their SAMs. I don't know. I, some of these are quite fun. Um, it's the squadrons here. We got World Watchers and what are the F-22s? This one's Dice Man. Dice Men. Ubik and what are you guys? Golden Sword. Okay. I know I have an F-16 squadron called Flying Fiends. And those are out of Osan. Yeah, there probably are real squadrons. Oh, I completely forgot about these guys. F-35s. Okay, you are going to attack there. Just go for it. Your standard cap, so you're going to go up to here. F-22, that's a fighter squadron, so go up to there. Engaged offensive, yeah, you're going to do that. Go passive on your radar, please. Should have one more flight. There we go. Your bombs, so passive. Let's see, this squadron is Green Knights. I think the F-22s down here are Gamecock Squadron. Yeah, Gamecocks. Then I have up here Pantons. Where are you? You are Phoenix. Yeah, honestly, they're probably the location of some of these squadrons are completely different now because this scenario takes place almost 3 years ago now. Scenario is dated for February 28th of 2017, so because it was a live scenario, so it's the squadron names are probably real for this one. And on top of that, they're going to be equipped with what they had at the time. The yeah, there's it's like it's known that there's not as much tension in here in this region now as there was 2 years ago. But this is also a scenario of, hey, what would have happened if the whole tension then actually came down to shooting? Which it did not, luckily. Holy Sam's. New up in contact. 101. 800 changed contacts? Let's just do that. But F-22s, since there's so few of them, they're likely to move around a lot more when they're actual Air Force units. So, like, the ones in Japan, they would have been there for increasing tensions with Korea. Now there's more tension with in other places, so you need them elsewhere. Probably not the most viable to send them to, like, I have no clue what that blue line was. Send them absolutely everywhere, but still. It's like I know that there have been F-22s up in Alaska, because that's what you usually end up hearing about, like intercepting the Bear bombers when they do their training runs. But Because I know back at home there's a squadron of F-16s back at home. There's not an airport around where I'm at right now that's actually big enough for an actual jet of the caliber of any of these. Yeah, World Watchers. I have two World Watcher units, both operating EP3 areas, and I have one of them prepping to go airborne. Yeah, it's amazing how much research goes into this. That's why it's like I'm willing to pay the money for this game. I did buy both this one and um, the previous game's Command Modern Air Naval Operations on sale. Although I got the sale for Modern Operations due to the fact I own the previous. The same probably goes for the Russians as well, but I don't know as much about the Russians here. Because actually, I can go ahead and save this. I just want to wait for the World Watch or the EP3 to go up before I save this real quick. How long until the EP3 launches? Okay, I'm just gonna save it because it's being really slow right now, and it's 122. So I'm gonna save it real quick. Let's save it right here. Yes. And then I will actually pop it out to start menu. I will actually pull it up in a scenario editor. Where is it? The Korean Crisis. Yeah, it's a fun game. It takes a little bit to get into because it's actually because of how in depth it is. I tend to play this operation a lot, even though it's very complicated, but it's not necessarily the hardest scenario either. I'm just gonna pull up the United States. I'm actually just gonna do silly things, so because why not? Editor. Actually, we're just gonna switch sides. Switch to Russia. Because Russia, I'm pretty sure the ships are correct. .289th OMAP, which would make sense. That's maritime patrols. Nothing there. It's annoying. Nothing there. There's a whole bunch here. Yeah, there's the Su-27s. Those are fighters. 47th IAP. I have to find all the aircraft. 22nd GDIAP. I have no clue what half those stand for because I don't know much about the Russians. I'm in a Discord with a guy that knows a fair amount about it, and he's also Russian, but yeah. Here we go. 24 fencers. AS-17 Kryptons. Penetrators. Holy crap. Oh, they do have an Odong strike. It's the 56th BAP. More of them. That's Elin. More Elin. Okay. Not Elin, but ECM. It's here. This might explain why the MiG-21 or MiG-31s take so long to get to the front. They're probably way the hell in the back. 34 fullbacks. Here we go. Here's the Foxhounds. which are by far the most dangerous things that they have. Those things move like a bat out of hell. A13 arrows. A13 has a range of 160 nautical miles. Those things are ridiculous. They got massive radar signatures, though. And they can do Mach 2.35, 1,350 knots. That's just the fighters. It's an Akula. Pure nothing. They got a lot of empty air bases. Jeez. Here's one with aircraft. The Bear Foxtrots, the Blinders. Hi, here we go. Nope, they can't use those. Can't use those backfires. That's where the AS4 kitchens come from. And they only have one shot for each of those. Holy crap. Elin, Elin. Nothing. ECM. So, I absolutely love these games. They're so well. There's so much goes into these scenarios. Oh, here's the Tu-160s. That's where the 106s come from. Mainstays, which are AWACS. More recon. But they have a fairly decent force. It's a kilo. They got a couple of kilos. They got a couple of Takulas. Oh dear, they have an Oscar too. Didn't realize they had this guy over here. And I love how they have no clue where any of the Patriots are. That's just great. But there's the SA300 or SA300s, S300s that I was spotting. Um, yeah, there's the S400. That thing is. That's why I don't really want to upset them because that thing has a massive range. So, yeah. That's part of why I'm not trying to upset them because it covers up to here. It's not something I want to deal with. It has two different missiles. It's got an SA-16, which I don't know much about. Very short range missile, okay. Very low accuracy. It's probably an Igla or something. And then there's the Growler, which is absolutely ridiculous. 215 nautical mile range. Yeah, and they had that big old container system. Oh, and they have it actually properly set up. It's so the container. Again, this is because I actually know a guy that from Russia that actually knows a thing or two about these systems. So container, what it is, it's a massive structure actually. If I was actually zooming enough, I might be able to find them. Potentially, if it wants to load. But it's a massive. You need 3 transmitters and 3 receivers. They need to be completely separate structures. It's not going to load it. Oh, no, now it is. No, it's not. Gonna load it. I don't think. But you need three separate structures for each. One transmitter can cover 120 degrees, and then you need a receiver. These receivers are like 60 kilometers. They're like 60 kilometers away from each other, or 40 nautical miles separated. So you can see that this one's only covering out this way, which is perfectly acceptable because it's actually covering what's necessary. If all three were actually produced, you would actually have a big ol'. It would cover everything. It would cover the North Pole, it would cover parts of Canada. But Russia actually has two of those things. They've got one in the east and one in the west. This is the western one. But you need one transmitter for one receiver for every transmitter, and you need three transmitters to get a full 360 view. And it's absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, I don't even know what that thing is. Oh, no, that's the thing going that way. Maybe. This might be. This might actually just be driving me nuts. Show range symbols. So the container definitely works over land. It's an over-the-horizon radar. Its main purpose is its main purpose is to find ballistic missiles before they launch or when they launch. So, okay, so it's only covering this region. Okay, so it's this guy right here. And again, that's acceptable. It's not 100% realistic, but but basically what it is it's as you can see from this picture, that's actually the structure. The but like the structure, one of them is in a triangular formation, the other one's in like three spokes coming out. But their entire purpose is again finding ballistic missiles before they arrive, giving the best early warning you can from ballistic missile launch. For that, you want a stupidly long range, and actually, I'm gonna pull up, do this. The U.S. equivalent in this is this guy here, the SBX 1. We're gonna do this. It's the SPX 1, which has a massive range inside. I'm going to show it. I'm going to switch sides real quick. Yeah, it's what it does. It's basically bouncing off the ionosphere. It's like this guy down here has a very similar range. It can see up to Korea. It's like this guy down here can actually see Korea. And it's not active apparently. Not that it matters, but it might also help if I have God's Eye off. No, it doesn't want to do it. Okay. But this guy can see all the way up to North Korea. It's ridiculous. Again, it's another case of, oh, this thing is meant to find ballistic missiles when they're launched. The United States only has a couple things active. I'm not 100% sure, because they're fairly secretive. In fact, the original ODH radar was the Duga system, which the Russians had, which was known as the Russian woodpecker. And that thing, the only reason people knew about it was it interfered with radio signals because of how powerful it was. And again, its purpose was like another case of we just want to see your ballistic missiles when they launch on radar. Container is another case of we want to see them as soon as possible, but we don't want to rely entirely on one system. United States, it's another case as well. That's what the SBX down there is. I think we might still have one or two land-based systems as well, but we mostly phase those out because we have very good satellite arrays. So that's what those guys are. And this game does actually have all the nukes involved. Um, if I really wanted to, in fact, I'll actually pull them up real quick. Yeah, they probably are easy to filter out. Load. But, like, it's meant to find the stuff I'm going to load in here. US, let's go here. ICBM, yeah, because it has all this stuff. Yeah, because they're gonna be one of the few things going way the hell up high. You're not gonna see something going above 100,000 kilometers or 100,000 feet unless it's either a satellite going to kill a satellite or it's a nuke. Well, currently from the United States at least. But that's the other nice thing about this. I'm gonna load up Mino Air Force Base. Yeah, I don't know how they're modeled in game either. Completed, but I know with like this, they might have a chance of picking up tactical aircraft. I'd have to look at the container on here. My thing's gonna lag because I just loaded 150 ICBMs in. But like that's the thing that's like people that really like to use the nukes in this game too. We'll just do the editor, load in the nukes, give them permission to fire said nukes, and literally all you end up having to do is switch nuclear weapon to granted, engage opportunities yes, and then set everything to weapons free. And then usually you see in like 5 seconds you see nuclear weapons flying. Container is reportedly capable of picking up planes, helicopters, drones, cruise missiles from over the horizon by reflecting signal off the ionosphere. So it's unknown for sure, but is primarily meant for ballistic missile detection. So it's meant as like a replacement to the Duga. But it does sound like they theoretically can pick up if you build it right, they can detect your different aircraft. But they do actually have the Duga in here, which I think it's under steelwork Duga 3, which there's not much on it. That's the receiver. This is the transmitter, which it's a really old system. It's anti-ballistic missile space search. Yeah. But this is the original one, is the Duga 3. Well, the Duga series, which they built 3, only 2 of which were operational. But I know at least the Duga 2, which was in the Chernobyl area, is still around. But then there's the 2 containers, are the current system. So, well, I'm gonna head off for the night. I need to get some sleep because I do have class in the morning, unfortunately. I will be trying to stream again tomorrow night, as well as definitely Saturday night. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow night then. See you guys next time.